All right, folks, things are heating up in Montreal. Trade deadline is approaching. Tyler Toffoli is a Calgary Flame, has already scored his first goal. And today we're going to talk about the most recent press conference by our man, Kent Hughes. Joined alongside me is Alex. We're missing Justin. My name is Mackie. Together we make the No Respect podcast. So let's start here. The press conference. Kent Hughes, this magnificent Bob the Builder looking man right now because of what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens. What is your takeaway here, Alex? At least like from, we'll get into the details of what he said, but overall press conference, a couple of weeks in, how you feeling, Kent Hughes?
Yeah, I think his press conferences have been a breath of fresh air as opposed to Bergevin's end of tenure press conferences that were very, I don't know. I feel like with Bergevin towards the end of his time here, he kind of had to read between the lines. It seemed very cryptic in his messaging. Whereas now Ken Hughes, his first couple of press conferences, he's very direct with his answers, seems confident in what he wants to do, and he's not afraid to tell us what he wants to do. So yeah, it's been nice to see. It's as much as this season has been bad, it's nice to get a clear idea of what he wants to do with this team.
The only thing that I'll say on that is that, one thing that I respected about Bergevin is that this is, at the end of the day, the NHL. Everybody's listening. You got people that are on the phones and looking at different media conferences and trying to get as much information on what people's plans are. So do you feel like it's nice for the fan? My question is is this good, as a GM, to be so open, to be talking and basically in poker, this guy's like, I've got a full house. I'm going to go all in. Are you guys good?
Yeah. I think I also don't want to be too harsh towards Marc Bergevin. Again, I don't know how he was at the start of his tenure. Obviously, 8 or 9 years in Montreal, whatever it was, it probably wears on you and you're probably fed up of the media. So at some point, he probably decided to just say what he needs to say, and that's it.
Yeah.
As for your question, it's a good question for sure. I mean, he said it himself in the press conference. I think there was a question asked that kind of relates to that. Was that with you guys being out of the playoffs, is it should you be telling everyone this basically, that you're willing to move this guy, or if someone steps up, we'll trade him tomorrow? Is this information that you want to be giving out? And yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe in a year or two, we'll find out that we did deal our guys too early and it was a mistake. It's hard to say. I mean, I get what you're saying, having that secrecy, maybe considering more offers before coming out and saying this stuff. But I think they know what they're doing. I think Jeff Gordon there overseeing everything. He has experience in this department. So I'm not too concerned about that being a mistake.
Yeah, and let's get into the details of what was said. And I think just to kind of go through a couple of the tweets here that our friends from Twitter, Arpan Basu, starting off, if the right deal is there, we'll do it. We won't wait for the market to take shape or determine the price. Kent Hughes has said this twice about Ben Sherratt, how it could be imminent or it could happen later. Basically, step up and make the right offer and he's yours. That's the part that I feel is kind of weird. It's basically Ben Sherratt is aware that he's being traded. I don't think that's ever happened in a Marc Bergevin tenure, if that was ever something that was made aware. He's always kept it close to his vest. So might be good, might be, the transparency that players want. But I do feel like there's some kind of strategic element that might be lacking here. So moving on, Jeff Petrie, same thing. If we can find a trade that works for us and another team, we're going to do it, but it has to work, So we'll get into that later. But let's get back to the fact that, right now, from what I gather from this press conference, is that it's open season. Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie, put in Christian Dvorak. I think from what I read on Twitter right now, it's Brendan Gallagher, Josh Anderson are the two players that they're looking to keep, and of course the young players that they're looking to develop. But I think it's pretty wide open. They said, would it be 5 trades? They're not looking at making a specific number of trades. But from what we gather, it's basically make a good deal and we'll custom
we'll take it.
Yeah, basically. So is this coming back to maybe a video that we just did a couple of days ago, maybe just yesterday? Is this for you confirmation after this press conference that this is rebuild mode au complet, in full in English?
Yeah, that's one thing that stands out in that I'm a bit surprised that they're not willing to come out and say that they're rebuilding, especially with like Nick Suzuki directly saying it that he thinks it's a rebuild. They must have this knowledge in the dressing room. And we saw it a few years ago in New York. Jeff Gordon, they released a letter to the fans saying this might be a few rough years, but we'll have success. And they are now having success. The Rangers are close to the top of the league. But yeah, it is a bit surprising. I don't know why they kind of keep that to themselves. Like, I think one of the reporters specifically asked, and he said, we don't want to classify it as a rebuild, retool, or whatever it is. If the right deal is there, we'll take it. But I think if you're willing to make that many deals, that's kind of a sign that they're
Depends what you
willing to
get.
to go all the way and rebuild.
I
So I don't
think
know.
it
It'll be
does.
interesting to see what happens.
I think it does depend on what you're getting back in the package. Of course, if you're starting to just gather prospects and picks like that I totally
Yeah.
agree that it sends the message. And obviously, the first move with Tyler Toffoli is sending that message. But if you do see some pieces that are young pieces that are maybe not established players, but if we're gonna throw like name. If you're not gonna get Claude Giroux, who that's another hot topic,
Yeah.
is probably moving from the Philadelphia Flyers. But if you are receiving some younger pieces that are not picks, it could be that reset-ish style. Because if you are going to keep
Yeah.
some foundational elements in Brendan Gallagher, Carey Price, Josh Anderson, which seems to be the case, that could be it.
That's it's an interesting statement for sure. And I think he specifically said something alluding to that with the Heineman acquisition is that in this Toffoli deal, they'd much rather take a guy like Heineman, who I guess is equivalent to second round pick, but he's 2 years ahead of this year's second round picks in his development. So yeah, like you're saying, it could be a quicker turnaround with pieces like this we're trying to acquire. So fans may be disappointed that, hey, we're not getting 18 picks in the next two drafts. But if you're getting players like this who are a year or two ahead in their development, maybe this turnaround's quicker. And in an environment like Montreal, that's probably for the best. So you don't start losing the fan base. So it is interesting. It'll be a fun couple of weeks, couple of months.
Yes, things are heating up. Again, folks, if you have anything to add on to this discussion, I know that we had some people that are chatting in our previous comments, some people that enjoyed the Toffoli deal, appreciating the return, and some that are okay. Are you guys up for this rebuild? Is that what you guys want? We don't know what's going to happen in the next coming weeks, but it should be exciting. It's definitely new to us. The era of Bergevin is obviously over, and now the Kent Hughes era has begun. So, will it be full rebuild? Will it not? Let us know. We are the No Respect Podcast. If you like Habs content, you've come to the right place, we think. And like, subscribe, all of those things if you want. And if not, we'll see you guys relatively soon. Have a good one, and go Habs go.